Hi, today's in the hoop project are these fun freestanding lace earrings. They're quick and easy to make. They stitch completely in the hoop. You will of course need a pair of earring wires to finish them off. And you will need wash away stabilizer. You need to use the fabric kind, not the plastic kind, and you need to put 2 layers of this in your hoop. So this design is for bacon and eggs in the cast iron skillet. You can stitch them with the eggs at the bottom, or if you want a little more fun design, we've got them turned around with the eggs at the top to make a little bit of a face. You can also stitch just the eggs. Now I think it looks a little better with the inside of the skillet being done in a dark gray, but you could, if you wanted, to stitch the skillet in a solid black for the inside as well as the rim. You can skip the bacon and stitch just the eggs, or you can skip the bacon and the eggs and have a blank skillet, or you could then add some text of your own to that skillet. One of the things that you will want when you're stitching freestanding lace is to use some matching bobbin thread. Now I don't like to wind my own bobbins, but they do make pre-round bobbins filled with colored bobbin thread. There's quite a few colors available, enough that you can get colors that are close enough to your front. So here's, for example, a daisy bookmark I did. You can see when you look at the leaves that green is a little bit darker, but it largely matches. I do recommend the one color. Now this bookmark I elected to do since it has text on the front. I figured it didn't really matter for the back, so I did that with all a white bobbin, but you can see the back is nowhere near as pretty. Now this design, I've got the back done matching the front, and you can see they're almost identical there for that. So the design looks much cleaner and nicer when you match the bobbin thread. I usually start by printing out the instructions or looking at them. The overview and instructions is included with all the designs. This will let you know what files, so you can pick whether you want the eggs at the bottom or at the top. As well as I've set up this design to stitch 1 pair of earrings in the hoop or to stitch 4 pairs at once that are already all nicely color sorted for you. I also include a layout guide, and this will show you what is being stitched in each run. Give you a little note so you can decide I'm just stitching the skillet or the eggs and bacon. That way you'll know which run is coming up, so you'll know which colors to assign. All you need to do for these earrings, like I said, is put 2 layers of the wash away stabilizer in your hoop. And as I said, you will of course need the earring wires to put on the earrings once they're done. They're available at most of your craft stores. I keep the ones once I've opened them in my empty bobbin spools. So I'm going to take this on over to my sewing machine. I've already loaded the pattern, and one of the things that I like to do is to go in the edit mode and add some stops. I use the little hand symbol. That way it makes it easier to stop after each run and change the bobbin thread. So we've done that. We're going to start sewing. I've already put my colors in. You can, of course, a lot of sewing machines include a reserve stop button. You can use that as well to stop after each run. I will often forget to hit that though, so I prefer to just set up the stops before I start stitching. I've got my dark gray bobbin thread in there. It's going to stitch the center of the pans. And when it's done, we will pause to trim the threads from the back and change our bobbin thread. The inside of the skillet has finished stitching. I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine. I'm going to trim the threads from the back side of the design. I think it works much better if you trim the threads after each run. I'm also going to change my gray bobbin thread for some black bobbin thread. We'll then stitch the handles and the edges around the skillet, and we'll be back. The outside of the skillet is completed. We're going to again remove our hoop from the machine. So now if you want just the cast iron skillet with no eggs or bacon, you would be done now. I'm going to add some eggs. First, I'm going to trim the threads off the back. Put the hoop back in the machine. And I'm going to change from my black bobbin thread to some white bobbin thread. The eggs, or specifically the whites of the eggs, are stitched next. So we've got white bobbin thread in, and we're ready to go. The egg whites have stitched. Again, I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine. I'm going to trim the stitches off the back, and then I'm going to change my bobbin thread from white to yellow, and we will stitch the yolks. And here's our yellow bobbin thread, and going the right direction. And we'll let our yolks trim, stitch, and we'll be back for baking. Our yolks have finished stitching, so we've now got 2 eggs in the skillet. Again, if you wanted just the eggs in the skillet, you could stop stitching now and be done. Or we can go ahead and add our bacon in. So I'm just going to trim these threads off the back. And again, if you don't trim the threads, they tend to get caught in the next run that's stitching, and your back will not be as neat. Now, I do not have any light pink thread for the bacon. I use a light pink and a dark brown red. I do not have any light pink bobbin thread, so I'm actually going to use some light. I'm just going to use my white bobbin thread on the back. So we'll pop that back in there, and we'll start our baking. The bacon fat has stitched, so we will trim the threads off the back once again. And then we will stitch the meaty part of the bacon. That's a dark brown red. Again, I do not have any bobbin thread that color, so I'm just going to use my black bobbin thread for that stitching. So use matching or as close to matching bobbin thread as you got. And our bacon will be done in 1 minute. Our design is all finished sewing. Thank you, sweetheart. So I'm going to remove my hoop from the machine. I'm going to once again trim those last stitches off the back. Get those all trimmed off. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of the machine, or out of the hoop. Now all we need to do is rinse away the stabilizer, and we will be good to go. I'm just going to trim off a little bit of that excess stabilizer, and I'm going to bring this into the workroom, and I'm going to just simply run some cold water. And I'm just going to, now I do have a little cup here that I like to keep my excess stabilizer in. I don't like that to go down the drain. So I've rinsed it in cold water, and just wait a second or two, and these will just pop right out of the stabilizer. You can put the excess stabilizer in the cup there as opposed to down the drain. And press these briefly in the towel. Then I'm going to take them back into the other room, and we'll give them a quick iron, and we'll be set here. I've got my iron on. I'm just going to put these under the iron for a minute. If they're still wet while you're ironing them, you want to move them around a little bit. The other thing you want to do is you want to take some small scissors or a knitting needle or awl, and I'm going to poke where the hole is, where the hoop's going to go. I'm just going to poke that through that hoop and give it a little twist to open that up. Make sure any stabilizer is removed from there and give it a nice shape for the hoop. And I will put him down, and I'm going to grab my other one, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Take my small scissors and just poke them right through the loop. Give it a little twirl. And then we'll put them back under there for a minute. Make sure you wipe the scissors. You don't want the stabilizer nasty stuck on them. So I just press these for another minute until they're dry. Move them around a little bit so they don't stick to your ironing board. And then once they finish drying, we can take them over to our work table, and we're going to add the earring wires to them. Looks like I've lost them here, but there they are. I actually like, here's a good use for your bobbin cases. You can use them to put the earring wires or things like that in. They're much easier because these little things, once you open them, they fall apart and they're impossible to keep them nice in. So we'll grab our earrings here, and we're just going to poke these through the hole, down and around. And then I'm going to take my pliers here, and I'm just going to give a slight squeeze. You don't want to squeeze them too tight. If you squeeze them too tight, the earring won't be able to swing. You still want them to be able to move, but you don't want them to fall off easy. Repeat that with the second wire. So just poke him through there and turn it around. Now some of the wires have loops on them where you need to open up the loop a little bit and put them through. So like some of my doggies here, if you see, these have a little loop there, and I just basically turn that loop a little bit to the side, put them in, and then use the guys here to put them back together. So whatever loops you've got or wires, do them. I don't think I pinched this one very much, did I? We'll give him just a slight pinch again so he doesn't fall off. And I've got another pair of earrings ready. They've also sell these little backs, the little plastic backs. If you want to put those, include those with your wires, you can do that as well. We hope you've enjoyed today's In the Hoop project. If so, please like and share, and please subscribe to this channel for more In the Hoop projects. Again, remember, this freestanding lace earrings, but it applies to most freestanding lace projects. Happy stitching!